Welcome to the Power Your Life radio show with host and success doc Joanne White. Author, speaker, certified coach, and energy master, Doc White gets to the heart of what matters most. She features guests and experts to help you consciously create more success, health, and wellness in every area of your life, work, and relationships. They'll share their success stories, wisdom, and know-how to help you shine more light onto your day and into your life. Power your life right now. Here's Joanne White.
Hello, everyone, and thanks so much for joining us today on Power Your Life. And I'm Dr. Joanne White, and it's always a pleasure. And speaking of power, today we're going to talk about the power of your self-image. Oftentimes people don't recognize the beautiful wealth that's within them, and we're going to do that in a beautiful way with a very wonderful person that I've just been blessed to have a beautiful conversation with, and I'm talking about Suzana Mihajlovic, I hope I pronounced it right, who is one of the top people in the world, says Bob Proctor. She is a highly sought-out professional in the field of mindset, success, and human potential. Suzana has led major public speaking events and has also shared the stage with the world's greatest leader in human potential, and we're talking about Bob Proctor. She has had a wide caliber of experience and expertise which distinguish her from ordinary. Suzanne has been referred to by her clients as the missing link between success and failure. She is one of the very few Proctor Gallagher Institute Consultants that worked very closely with the late Bob Proctor himself. And she was part of his inner circle. Suzana has applied the principles that she teaches to her own life and has, during this time, expanded her client base to all over the world. Her international success coaching company, Your Two Minds, has clients from every continent except Antarctica. Prior to founding Your Two Minds, Suzana had a number of senior management positions in large non-government organizations, and she is amazing. Suzana, how are you? Welcome to Power Your Life.
Hello, Dr. Joanne. It is so great to be here. Thank you so much for having me on your incredible show. I'm a fan, and I'm so honored to be here with you. Thank you.
Well, the pleasure is mine because I'm a fan of yours, too. And with all the wonderful attributes and accolades that you have beautiful humility. So I love that combination. That's really nice.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
It's important. So I want to first focus on the name of your Two Minds, the name of that, and why did you create that in that regard?
Sure. So that name just came to me back in 2017. I've always known my purpose. I made a big leap of faith and left the full-time, realm of employment and had started my own business and just couldn't come up with a name. And one day I went for a walk and had a massage, and in the midst of the massage, Your Two Minds. So basically what it means is your conscious and your subconscious mind. And once you start to understand a little bit about your mind and how it works, you can, change your life.
That's so important, and I agree. Many people just take themselves and their minds on the surface, and there is so much deeper, as you and I both know, to explore and to really glean and understand and really be able to access within ourselves. So you do a lot with mindset and self-image, and many people have very poor, negative self-images, right? And where does that come from?
Yeah, I would say most people do. Dr. Joanne, we're not, as you know, and as probably most of your followers and listeners know, we're not taught about ourselves as kids. And there are generational paradigms. So when I say paradigm, I mean the subconscious programming, the subconscious thoughts and habits, behaviours and feelings that we carry. So we have generational paradigms that are passed down because our ancestors did not know about themselves and they were passed down to their children, which became our parents. So often this programming is childhood programming. It comes from ancestors. It may also come from other significant others, other kids, telling us something that we're not. And once those messages are repeated either within ourselves or from our families or community, they start to become a subconscious pattern, a subconscious thought that we think is us. A great example of this, one of the biggest things that Dr. Joanne, I hear about is money. Most people come from, in this society, come from generational fear around money, around poverty, because our ancestors were, after the war, it was very hard, so therefore it was passed down to us. So once you break through those subconscious patterns, you see a total change in your life.
I so agree. It's so important to break those patterns and those belief systems that get embedded within us. We start believing. I know personally I had to change that a long time ago to feel good about who I was. And I think oftentimes many people have to go through that themselves. It could also be something that happens in schools or educationally, right, as well as what you talked about in terms of our ancestors and our families and also other students. So that's so important.
Absolutely.
So one of the most important things is we do have this power. You and I both know that. How do we access it? How do people really learn and understand how to tap into that wealth of power and abilities that's within?
Yeah, absolutely. For me, the very first step is starting to understand who you truly are. So we are so conditioned by our families, by education, by other kids, by our communities, by society. Society is constantly telling us, what we are and what we're not. So when you so we start to carry and start to think thoughts about ourselves that are not true. When you start to understand the truth of who you are, you start to get a glimpse of what is possible. So for me, the absolute first step is understanding who you are. Now, Dr. Joanne, when I say understanding who you are, I don't mean the beautiful woman that we see, in photos of yourself and we're not our age, we're not our body. That's only a tiny part of the truth of who we are. What quantum physics, now this is science, this is not woo-hoo, okay? We've got to stop thinking it is woo-hoo because it is backed up with decades of science, starting from Nikola Tesla, Einstein, and now the modern quantum physics, modern day physics tells us that when we break you down, right, to the absolute atom, the smallest particle that you are, there is consciousness. There is energy. And this energy is pure pure light force intelligence. It is the intelligence.
I love it. Go ahead. No, it's very profound, and I love it, and I believe it. Go ahead.
Yeah. It is the same intelligence that has created the universe, our solar system, our planets, and that has created you in the physical. So you are 99.9999% in actual fact, pure, infinite intelligence.
Understanding that and being able to recognize that within us we have so much ability, so much aptitude, so it is amazing, and many people not only do not know that, but don't take advantage of it. So knowing that is one thing, and that's huge in and of itself, and I'm totally on board with everything you're saying, Suzana. But again, knowing that, and then how do we access that wealth of knowledge, of information, of everything that we have that's within us, all the possibilities?
Absolutely, Dr. Joanne. So that's the first step, knowing that and reminding yourself of that daily. The next thing is you have the greatest tool for success within you, and that is your marvelous mind. So here's where the how comes. So every day you remind yourself of who you truly are. You go into the nothingness, which is everything, and you can do that through a meditation, reading a book, a reminder to yourself, and then understanding that your mind, by using your mind, you can apply this energy that you are to change. So how do we do this? So the very first step is understanding in your heart, what is it that I really want? And then recreating yourself. Okay? So Albert Einstein said, one of our greatest intellects said two things that for me are absolutely profound. First of all, the one that I love the best, he said that we live in a society that sees the intellect as the master and intuition as the servant, or even less than the servant. It bags intuition. Oh, intuition, that's nothing, But in actual fact, he said that intuition is our master and our intellect is the servant. Now, this is the highest intellect that we know, that is one of the highest that we know. And he is saying that intuition is number one for him. The other thing he said is if he was to choose between his intellect and imagination, he will choose his imagination first. So, what does that mean? So, we understand who we are. We start to use our mindset. And your mind, and be very clear with who you want to be, how you want to feel, what is this new image of yourself, what is the success that you want in your life. Very clear, write it down, because writing causes thinking and feeling. Now, we can then use our imagination. It's one of the most powerful tools you have in your mindset. So how do we do this to change ourselves? You have been imagining who you are not for most of your life. You've been imagining, I'm too big, I'm too thin, I'm not good enough, I can't do that. You've been imagining, people not liking you. Once you decide how you want to change it and you write it down, you can start to imagine differently. And when you start to imagine differently, it will become your new habit.
That's so powerful and so very true. And I'm with him. I would choose imagination over mine at any day, really, because I think it is incredible. It's stimulating. It's where our passion is. It's where we can just do things on so many different levels with that imagination. And it's beautiful. It really is. And it also is so important because when we imagine things and think about, and you know this, all of the inventions and creations that have come up in the world, I mean, they came from imagination. Sometimes it's like, no, people would say, no, that's impossible. You can't do that. We can't fly. Whatever. But here we are.
Exactly. Everything that we see on the physical came from imagination first, from somebody that, and I love that you mentioned, many years ago, people were saying we can't fly, and the Wright brothers said, well, no, we can fly. And their father basically, they were ridiculed, and their own father disowned them, didn't want anything to do with them. They thought he thought that they were dealing with the devil. But they kept going because of their imagination, and because their imagination, so listen to this part, because their imagination was absolutely aligned with what everyone thought was impossible. What do you think is impossible for your life? Then their intuition kicked in, right? So it told them the next step and the next step and the next step, and how to solve the formula, how to get us in the air. And thanks to the Wright brothers, we are now we have many planes in the air, helicopters, So, yeah, absolutely. Everything is imagination first.
And, and I also love the whole idea, and I utilize this and teach this as well, the ability, as you know, Suzana, of really tapping into our intuition, because we can hear something or see something and we can feel, no, it's not right. And if we learn, and this is key, and you know this, if we learn how to really trust our intuition, because right now there could be many advertisements or whatever that say, oh, this is the best and this is what you need and da-da-da-da-da.
That's right.
Right?
Yes.
So I love what you do. So given that this information, why is it that so many people kind of shy away from it? Maybe intuition does still seem a little bit woo-woo to a lot of people still. How do we get people to really believe and access those truths about themselves and about their abilities?
Absolutely. That's such a great question. Dr. Joanne, I think that so many people have disconnected from their own confidence and trust within themselves. I didn't want to say lost, because it's never lost. It's always within you. You never lose something that is within you regardless. I think that, so many people are conditioned to think that they are not. I am not good enough. I am not this successful person. I am not this. So therefore, they have given their power away to the external. So the external says, well, in my world anyway, I'm not sure if this is everyone's experience, but for me, when I was in the job, I was in senior management for most of my career in the helping professions. And if I had ever said to, a manager or, well, I use my intuition, when we're deciding things, I would have, back then I would have feared that I'd be ridiculed. But most of my success has been on intuition, okay? So because we are so conditioned to think that we are not, that we are small in some way, that we are limited, that we don't have the power within us, whatever it is, right? There's so much negative lies that we tell ourselves about ourselves. We tend to give our power away to what the external message is. And that's why a lot of people also think intuition is woohoo, or it's a female gift, and it is a female gift, and it's something that we should be proud of. It's female and male. It's anyone's gift if you want to tap into it.
Okay.
So I think that is why most people are disconnected. But once they start to trust themselves and understand who they are, they can slowly start to trust their own intuition again.
Can you imagine, I'm thinking as you're talking, Suzana, a whole world where everybody is recognizing the truth of what we're talking about, the truth of the power of within and the intuition? We would, I mean, think about that. It was like,
I know. And, you know, this is so important, more important than ever, Dr. Joanne, because we are living in an information society. Never before in history have we had so many messages sent to us. You know, you walk down the street. I mean, I'm just, 2 minutes away from Times Square at the moment, and boom, 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 marketing and noise and messages, and, you turn on your computer and there are messages there. You look at your phone and there are messages. You turn on TV. We are just inundated with information that is not always for our best. So if we don't understand how our mind, how our intuition, how our imagination works, we open our mind to messages that may not serve us. So it's absolutely critical that we start to understand and trust ourselves more in this point in time.
I so agree, Suzana. I think it's so essential. So how do you tell people to be able to take a look within? Because it's not always easy. And again, like you said, we've had so much programming that we have kind of taken as truth for ourselves, and then that's what we tell ourselves. How do you tell people to begin shifting that? What are some of the steps that can utilize to do that?
For sure. And remember, and again, you raised such a good point in mentioning that, we've been living this way for a long time. Most people are thinking, feeling, behaving the way that they have been for most of their lives. So having said that, remember, if you need to start small, start small. Never underestimate the small steps that you take daily. I would first start to remind myself who I am. That could be through a prayer, through a meditation, through even the willingness, the intention to understand yourself more. And ask yourself, what do I really want? And that question for many people is a really difficult one to answer, because they have been, living a life based on this programming, based on I am not enough, or I have to survive, so therefore I have to go to my job to pay the mortgage, to make sure my children are fed, and which is absolutely fine. You need to do that. We all need to do that. But they haven't had time or trust to ask their hearts, what is it that I really want? And I would encourage everybody to start to write that down. You don't need to do anything with it at this stage if you're not drawn yet, but start to understand, what is it that you really want. I would also write down all of the messages that I've been telling myself. So what have you been telling yourself about you? Write them down. I am not this. I am not this. I am big. I am small. I am smart. I'm not smart. Write them down. Get them out. Get them out of your body onto paper. And once that's done, you can start to recreate. Ask yourself, what if anything was possible for me? What would I love? And just start to play with it. I would also absolutely 100% get into a daily practice of gratitude. 100%. This sounds so simple that people just kind of, forget to do their gratitude, or just they think, oh, yeah, When you are writing your gratitude, when you are connecting to your gratitude, please connect to the feeling of gratitude. Don't just do it as a tick box thing. Stay in gratitude for most of the day if you can. Practice staying in gratitude even when challenges come up. Because what it does, it raises your vibration to what you have rather than what you have not, or what you think you don't have. Okay, there's only abundance in the energetic world, in spirit. Okay, when you raise your awareness and your vibration in gratitude, you start to open your mind up to bigger ideas. You open your heart up. You feel better. When you feel better, the energy that you're sending out is coming back to you, and you open yourself up and your life up to more abundance, to a problem solving thinking rather than problem focused thinking. It's very hard to change a problem when you're thinking from the problem. Once you move out of the problem and think from the solution and get into gratitude, new ideas start to come up.
Beautiful. It's so important, and many people, actually I would say most people, like you said, Suzana, focus on what we don't have, the limitations within our lives. But for a moment, now I had a head injury, and it kind of awakened me because I'm alive. Could have been. Yes. Could not be here. And, just for a moment, everybody, you're alive. You're being able to listen and take in what Suzana is saying today, our conversation. Look at that as a gift. I mean, there are so many gifts that we don't pay attention to that are within us and around us. Sunshine, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And we are alive. What a gift.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah.
And
we forget that.
What we do with it is also important, right? And that's part of what we're talking about today. The ability that you have to change your life, to access, as you say so beautifully, that gratitude, which is a transformer in so many ways and can help you reach new heights. So I love it. So wonderful.
Yeah.
Suzana, tell our listeners a little bit about your journey, how you got to this, the inner journey is what I'm talking about, how you got to this place of understanding more about your intuition, your abilities, your creations and imagination.
Sure. Absolutely. Sure. So I'm an Australian. I was born in Melbourne, Australia. You can probably tell by my accent. However, my parents immigrated from Serbia, and life was pretty tough as a kid. For most people it is, right? But I remember my earliest childhood memories was I was connected to spirit without anybody ever teaching me about that. My parents were not very religious. We went to church twice a year for Christmas and Easter back then, but I was always connected to spirit. And I was one of those children that no matter if you were an infant or you were 80 years old, I attracted people to me. People just wanted to be around me. I think thinking back, it was because I was so connected to spirit that I was able to connect to theirs. I didn't know I was doing that at the time. However, and with that, we experienced a lot of bullying, some extreme bullying for most of our time growing up. And my parents, coming from, they were, generations of peasant farmers. So therefore, even though they are very intelligent people, their education was robbed from them. So my father's dream for me was to complete an education. And he would always say to me, you're going to be a doctor, you're going to be a doctor. And I never wanted to be a doctor. I knew what I'm doing now was going to be my purpose. And what he did for me was he taught me how to dream. He didn't know he was doing it at the time. But with all of that bullying, what my escape was to imagine and dream of being a success. So that led me to, I guess, my own trauma, and that connection to spirit led me to studying psychology at university, knowing one day I'll be an international leader, helping people break through, and connecting to spirit also. Psychology was absolutely amazing, loved it. When I got into the work, I'm not a psychologist, so I ended up studying counselling after that, but got into senior management. And even though I had a great career, there was always something missing inside me, and that was the pull to step out and do the work that I'm doing now. The missing link and the frustration for me at work, and you do have to have systems in a job. You do have to have guidelines and everything. But it was frustrating because they worked on mindset and behaviour, but they missed where our potential, our genius lies, and that is the spiritual part. So I had discovered Bob Proctor as I was, a senior manager, knowing that I wanted to get out of the workforce, just didn't know how. And somehow I intrinsically knew that I was going to work with this man and we would become friends. And there was such a strong pull. And one day I decided to quit my full-time employment. That was 7 years ago at the end of January. $500,000 in debt. It was good debt. It was tied to mortgages. However, it was still debt. And I just left my work and decided to pursue what I was born to do. And long story short, I ended up working with Bob Proctor. We became friends, and now I have a co-coaching program with Bob Proctor's amazing, incredible son, Brian Proctor. So I'm now doing my work with him, and I have also another partnership with McKinney Smith, and we help people break through to their higher levels of success.
Beautiful. I love it. And it is so important. Your father was wonderful in encouraging that. And, I'm with you, too, in terms of spirituality and really able to focus within and access our dreams and our truths and all of that. So love what you say. I love what you do. I love your energy. Tell our listeners, Suzana, how they can get a hold of you, find out more about what you do, and access the beautiful Suzana.
Thank you so much, Dr. Joanne. So the best place is to check out my website, yourtwominds.com, and also the Millionaire Roundtable Facebook group. If you let me know that you're from Dr. Joanne's radio podcast. So if you go into the Millionaire Roundtable Facebook group, there's just a few questions there. Let me know that you've heard this interview, and I'll send you a free chapter of my book. And also Brian Proctor and I are starting our Success Magnet program very, very soon. Let me know if that's something that you would like to have some more information about, because we are getting started. So I think they're the two best places to find me. So the Millionaire Roundtable Facebook group and your2minds.com.
Tell us a little bit about that, the project that you're going to be starting.
Sure. So Success Magnet is something that came through us. So I have a friendship with Brian Proctor. I when I was working with Bob, Brian and I became friends, as well as his wife Corey, and they are absolute incredible people. We decided to run a workshop in October, and that led to an incredible coaching program, which is 5 months long, and you are co-coached from where you are now to your higher level of success. We cover the success principles that we've been taught by Bob. We go from where you are now, what your goal and dream is. There is some hot seat coaching with Brian Proctor, so you get to know both of us quite well in the group. And there's a mastermind, some accountability partnerships that we align you with. It's turned out to be an absolutely incredible program.
Sounds wonderful. So how do people sign up for that?
So if you just send me a message in the Millionaire Roundtable, we're getting all the links and everything ready for our next round. So just send me a message. You can even send me a message on Messenger, Suzana Mihajlovic, Facebook Messenger, or when you enroll in the Millionaire Roundtable Facebook group, and I'll get my team to send some more information to you all.
Beautiful. Suzana, you are a beautiful spirit. I love what you do. Thank you for sharing time with us today. What would you like to leave our listeners with before we close?
I would love all of your incredible listeners to know that where they have been up until now, all of their past, all of the situations that they think they may have failed in, all of the I can't been telling themselves, they do not have to be a part of their future. They can choose in this very minute, okay, you can all choose in this very minute now to open up to the truth of who you are and make a decision right now to have the life that not only that you want, but that you absolutely deserve. You have so much potential inside you. You just have not been shown how to tap into it.
Beautiful.
So, and every single one of you can be a success if you choose to.
I love it, and I agree with it. Thank you so much, Suzana. Have a beautiful, blessed day.
Thank you, Dr. Joanne, and I honestly want to thank you with all of my heart. I just hold you in such high regard. I absolutely love your show. So it has been my honour and my blessing to be with you. Keep doing the great work that you're doing. Thank you for making a difference to our world.
Well, thank you, and I feel the same way about you. You are a blessing to me and to so many, and I feel very honored that you've shared the day with me. So thank you for being on Power Your Life, and have a beautiful, blessed, powerful day.
Thank you, and you too.
Thank you. So think about what Suzana said, because, again, we often focus on our limitations or what we think are our limitations or what we've been told and then believed about our limitations, and yet what Suzana has said and what I totally believe and have had to shift within my own life is that we have so much ability, so much wealth inside of us, and we can change those preconceptions that don't really work to be able to choose and live the life that we desire. And you can do that Even if you start small, as Suzana said, one step at a time. Decide today that you are going to empower yourself, to power your life. Focus on a couple of those beliefs that are negative, that tell you you're not worth it, you can't, you won't. And shift that to I can, I will, I am, in a beautiful way, so that you can see, feel, and experience who you truly are and be proud of it and share that wealth and that beauty in the world. Thanks for joining us today, and have a beautiful day, and honor the beauty and the wealth within each one of you. Thank you.
You've been listening to the Power Your Life radio show with host and author Dr. Joanne White. Listen often and spread the word about the upbeat show to enrich you and grow your life in the direction you desire. Listen again and again, and visit docwhite.org for more information and find out how Dr. Joanne can benefit you. Thank you for sharing your day with us, and stay tuned for more exciting guests and events to come.